Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving deep today into one of those economics ideas that, well, you hear it everywhere, but it's not always clear what it really means.
I know exactly what you mean.
We're talking about the invisible hand, the idea that a free market can thrive all on its own, even if nobody's intentionally trying to make that happen.
Yeah, no central planning, no big altruistic mission, just individual choices somehow adding up to something bigger.
Exactly. We're pulling from an excerpt titled Adam Smith and the Invisible Hand. So buckle up, because we're about to tackle a real head-scratcher. Can we really believe that selfishness actually benefits society?
Well, that's the paradox, isn't it? It's a question that's been debated for ages, and what's amazing is how Adam Smith, way back in the 1700s, managed to put his finger on this principle so clearly. He basically said that in a free market, people naturally chasing their own self-interest without even realizing it end up contributing to the well-being of the whole society.
I mean, it does go against how we usually think, right? Like,
hmm
we tend to think of self-interest as, greed, something that leads to bad outcomes. But Smith was saying, hey, this very drive can actually be a force for good. It's like
hmm
that famous line, right? The one about the butcher, the brewer, and the baker. It's not because they're such good people that we get our dinner. It's because they want to make a profit.
Right.
So
Yeah.
how did that actually work on a larger scale?
That's the beauty of this invisible hand idea. It's
Oh.
all about this intricate back and forth. Like the butcher isn't out there giving away the best cuts of meat out of the kindness of his heart. He's doing it because he wants customers coming back for more. The brewer's working hard to make sure their beer tastes amazing for the same reason. They want to make a living. And so, because you have all these people chasing their own goals, you end up with this marketplace full of great stuff. And we, the consumers, are the ones who benefit. It's like this beautiful, almost accidental equilibrium where everybody's needs are met, even if that wasn't anyone's main goal in the first place.
Wow. Yeah, that's fascinating. But you know what's really interesting to me? The timing of all this.
Oh, right. You mean.
Smith published The Wealth of Nations, the book where he lays all this out, in 1776, the same year as the Declaration of Independence. Do you think that's just a coincidence, or could there be something more to that?
I gotta say, it's gotta be more than just chance. It's like both of these, the Declaration and Smith's book, are kind of saying the same thing. Let people have their freedom, limit how much the government interferes, and good things will happen. The Founding Fathers were definitely on the same page as Smith, believing that society does its best when people are free to pursue their economic goals without the state breathing down their necks.
So does that mean the invisible hand always works perfectly?
Yeah, well, that's the debate, isn't it?
I mean, we all know there are times when self-interest leads to some pretty bad things happening.
You're absolutely right, and that's something economists wrestle with all the time. The invisible hand, powerful as it is, it's not a magic wand. Modern economics knows that markets can fail, and sometimes, that self-interest we were talking about, it can backfire.
What kind of backfiring are we talking about?
Well, think about monopolies, where one big company takes over everything, controls the market, and can charge whatever they want because there's no competition. Or, think about pollution. Companies might be making a profit, but they're also dumping waste that harms everyone else, and those costs aren't reflected in their prices.
Right, right. So it's not always sunshine and roses. But then how do we balance this idea of the invisible hand with all these real-world issues?
Well, that's where regulations and government intervention come in.
Ah, so even Smith.
Even Smith, yeah. While he believed that governments should generally stay out of things, even he admitted that some rules are necessary. You need some rules to ensure things are fair, to stop people from manipulating the system, and to deal with situations where, well, where the invisible hand leads to harmful, unintended consequences.
It's like he's saying we need both. We need the freedom for people to pursue their goals, but also, like, a sense of responsibility for the bigger picture.
That's a great way to put it. It's a delicate balance, for sure. We've got to acknowledge the incredible power of free markets, how they create wealth and drive innovation, but we can't be blind to the downsides either. Things like inequality, environmental damage, those need to be addressed. And this brings us to a really important question. If this invisible hand is so good at making the market efficient, then why do we still see so much poverty, so much environmental damage? If it's supposed to work so well, why are these problems still around?
Yeah. It's like the invisible hand needs some help sometimes.
Huh, maybe. But it's important to remember that invisible hand is just a metaphor. It's a way for us to talk about all the complex interactions that happen in a market economy. Supply and demand, competition, all the individual choices people make. It's not like some mystical force guaranteeing everything will be perfect.
So as we wrap up, what's the main takeaway for our listeners? What should they keep in mind?
Well, I think the key is to appreciate how elegant and powerful the invisible hand idea is, but to be realistic about it too. It's not a cure-all. Understanding its limitations and where we might need some well-placed regulations, that's essential.
Right.
And maybe the most important thing to remember is this. If we really want the market to work for everyone, we gotta keep asking ourselves, how can we make sure self-interest and the well-being of society are on the same page? How can we make sure that when people pursue their own goals, it also contributes to a world that's more just, more sustainable? That's the real challenge we face. And figuring it out requires constant discussion and exploration.
Absolutely, a big challenge indeed. Well, there you have it, everyone. We took a deep dive into Adam Smith's Invisible Hand, exploring both its brilliance and its limits, and how it still applies to the complex economic world we live in today. I hope you leave this deep dive with a better understanding of the forces driving our economic lives and a desire to keep learning more.